The final stage of the Tour de Hongrie, could Thibau, the young superstar on Little Trek, defend his leader's jersey against riders like Buchmann, Hirschi? There's also other riders that could attack him in the good weather on stage 5. We've got a hilly circuit, including a 2K 10% climb, which they do 3 repetitions of, finishing on top of it or about 2/3 of the way up as well in Pesh. It reminds me actually of Mount Kuthra a little bit. Beautiful city, and we've seen some pretty good racing actually, and it's tight racing with Ulissi only 14 seconds behind Nace and Buchmann only 16 seconds behind. So Little Trek controlling the breakaway. August was on like 2:39 or something, the Ineos rider on the breakaway, so they couldn't let it get out of control, and so it's 1:15 when they hit the first repetition of that climb. Good to see all the fans out on the side of the road, and UAE with Arietta already start pushing on the first of 3 reps. Ulysses on the radio saying you're going too hard, slow down. Cav was in the break actually, trying to get points or maybe from the intermediate sprint, so he takes the points jersey from the race, but the breakaway then keeps its advantage after Arietta slows down a bit because Baroncini's not there, and so it's just Hirschi and Ulysses for another hour plus of racing left. The group's already very small, so they obviously went very, very hard on that first climb, but whilst they do want to launch Ulysses and Hirschi, they need some more riders to do that on the final climb. So they wait. Baroncini comes back. There's a few attacks on the descent in between the climbs, nothing too serious. Van Hemelen and Kell O'Brien are the strongest from the breakaway and will stay out ahead. Here's the second rep. UAE go again. Ulysses a little bit deeper. It's Baroncini that went that time. And then everyone's the pluses because, like Hirschi can't go with 22 k's to go with the group this big. Buchmann will mark him. Vacek is there for Thibau. Well, Pouls, though, he's happy to have a dig. The man that was snubbed for a Giro spot, or at least it was not selected by Bahrain Victorious, showing very, very good shape, the same way Buchmann has this race. Would have been interesting to see, even on stage 10 on Tuesday, the likes of Buchmann and Pouls in the breakaway there. They catch August, who is a GC threat from the break. Frank Vandenbroek, definitely one to watch for the future. He goes with Pouls, the Dutch double, looking over the shoulder, and Howson coming through on the other side for Q3 6.5 Pro Cycling. Peloton stops again on the climb. And so, just like last year, it's all going to be down to the final climb. Everyone checking in with their leaders and domestiques. Now he's talking to Vacek, Arietta talking to Hirschi. Hirschi sort of seemingly doesn't want to hear it. Buchmann conveying the message to Zwihoff and his Bora teammates. And last year, Tullet attacked early on this climb, and then Hirschi wound him back and attacked over the top of him to win the stage. And of course, then the general classification. And it's like, can he do it today? Can Thibau hold up under pressure on... It is a punchy finish, but the way they've ridden the stage with multiple repetitions, it's a steep climb, and so we've got the climbers. Could they put the young puncher under pressure? And that's what Baroncini, former U23 world champion, is trying to do. 1.9 k's to go. Is Hirschi going to step off him? Sort of. Not really, because Zwihoff actually attacked over the top of Baroncini. There's no big move, and it looked like Hirschi didn't have the same snap this year, or maybe the others just a better level. Buchmann in the wheel, nice, sliding a little bit, but doing really well. Then Buchmann goes again. And now the UAE 1-2 with Hirschi and Ulysses actually looks the other way around. They're getting attacked, and Nace is happily sitting in the wheel of the less explosive GC guys like Buchmann, getting towed away to maybe a stage victory, but definitely protecting his GC lead. Howson, Callum Scottson with him. He's normally not worried about those sort of guys if it comes down to a sprint, and there's a gap. Pouls is trying to claw his way back. He doesn't get back until very, very late. Vandenbroek with Hirschi, and now it's like, does Hirschi wait for Ulysses, who was not following as easily? Does he bring him back to this group who might not work so well? In the end, with about 900 meters to go, Buchmann attacks again, and it does seem to be that way. Hirschi paces with Ulysses, because Ulysses is on the podium on GC in second, and maybe if he comes back, he can come over the top, and 10 bonies, a 4-second gap, I don't know, but Nace has to chase Buchmann, because he's on 16 seconds, so 10 bonus seconds, Plus a small gap at the line means Thibau Nys could be losing GC. He's got to close down Bookman, and that the others in his wheel can profit from that. You can see it's not all the way steep to the finish. Bookman, because of that attack, starts the longest sprint uphill, 200 meters to go. Nys doesn't have the explosivity anymore after the climbers have zapped his legs. And Wout Poels, who loves a hilly race with a long agonizing sprint at the end, wins the stage ahead of Howson. Kind of reminds me of Poel's sprint to win that Vuelta stage in the outskirts of Madrid last year. And see where he comes from. Into the wheel of Howson. Around him, Nys looks like he's actually up to speed with Poels, but then he just has to sit down. He just either was worried about getting boxed, but the fact that Bookman beats him seems that Thibau Nys actually ran out of steam and was on the limit, so who knows what could have happened with maybe another K on a climb, but there wasn't. He defends GC well. Poels wins the stage, and it's a big GC victory for the young Belgian. But as you can see, the Poels, Howson, Bookman, Thibau Nys group gets put on a 5-second advantage to Frank Vandenbroek and Ulysses group. Scotson, Van Hocker, Hishi, Lander Locks rounding out the top 10. Here's what Poels had to say after the stage.
Yeah, I was suffering really a lot. I was all the time on a small gap, but I could manage to do my own pace. And then in the last 150, I went flat out, and I took the win.
It was a help that the beginning of the hill you did 2 times before the last up.
Yeah, and the second last climb I was trying to force a little bit to split the group more, but not didn't really work out. So then I saved all my energy for the last climb, and I mean, it was an amazing atmosphere with all the people next to the road, and really nice to finish the Tour of Hongrie with a stage victory.
But in terms of GC, that gap was pivotal, with Bookman moving into second, Poels moving into third, 1 second ahead of Ulysses in fourth, and Hirschi. Very, very exciting race. Some good quality riders battling around the hills in Hungary. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you with maybe a Tour of Turkey video sometime this week. Until then, ciao.